Hey, welcome to After She Left. Stay till the end and don't forget to subscribe. She thought she was going to mentor interns. She didn't know I was about to mentor her boss in public humiliation. My name's Travis. I'm 38, live just outside Omaha, Nebraska. And up until that Thursday morning, I thought my wife was just your typical overachieving corporate type. It was still dark when I helped her load the car. Jessica had that glow she always got when something big was coming up. Lip gloss perfect, nails freshly done, the whole outfit sharp but a little too polished. She even had a new suitcase. I'd never seen it before. Leadership retreat in Denver, she told me, kissing my cheek. They picked me to mentor the summer interns. She looked proud. I felt proud too. Or I did, until later that night. I hadn't planned to snoop. I was just bored. She always left her work calendar open on our shared iPad, and I clicked it out of habit. That's when I saw it. Midwest Tech Sustainability Forum, Kansas City. Not Denver. Kansas City. At first, I figured it was some internal mistake. I texted her, "Hey, weird thing, your calendar says KC." A few minutes later, she called, "Oh, last-minute venue change," she said, all breezy. "Didn't I tell you?" She hadn't. And something in her voice, too relaxed, no apology, no pause, hit me wrong. I didn't say anything, just made some noise like, "Huh, okay." But a switch had flipped inside me. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the kind of stillness that only happens when your gut already knows the answer, but your brain's still pretending it doesn't. The next morning, while sipping bad coffee and avoiding work emails, I looked up the event online. Nothing special at first, just the usual tech jargon and names I didn't recognize. But then I saw it. Keynote speaker investor reveal panel featuring anonymous guest investor closing day 2. Anonymous guest investor. That's when the idea hit me. I didn't scream. I didn't confront her. I didn't even call her again. Instead, I whispered 2 words to myself that I hadn't said in years. Game on. I wasn't just going to catch her in a lie. I was going to walk into that conference, look her in the eye from a stage, and let the truth blow up her career like a landmine she'd stepped on herself. Let her think she was mentoring interns. She had no idea what kind of education was coming her way. And that was just the beginning. I wasn't just going to catch her. I was going to kill the deal her future depended on. The next morning, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop, phone, and a second cup of coffee I didn't need. I created a new Gmail address, dlyman.consulting@gmail.com. Sounded vague enough. Then I found the event organizer's contact info on the forum website. Subject line, Private Investor Inquiry. I typed carefully, each sentence sharpened like a knife. Dear Midwest Tech Team, I'm an independent investor with a background in sustainability ventures. I'd prefer to remain anonymous until the day of the event, but I may be interested in attending and potentially speaking briefly. I understand your keynote has an open slot for a private investor. Let's talk. Within the hour, I had a reply. The organizer was practically foaming at the mouth. Said they'd love to showcase real investors committed to green tech. Offered me a 15-minute slot to close day 2, the same slot listed on their site. He even called me Mr. Lyman. I didn't correct him. I told him I'd confirm travel later, just needed a few days to finalize my availability. Discretion is vital, I added. Please don't promote my name. No problem at all, he replied. We value privacy. Yeah, I bet you do. That same afternoon, I picked up a burner phone from a strip mall on the edge of town, paid cash, no ID. Then I booked a room at the same hotel listed on the forum site, 2 floors down from Jessica's block, registered under D. Lyman. I even requested a corner room with a view. Petty, maybe, but satisfying. Back at work, I kept things clean. Told my manager I needed Friday off for a union grievance hearing. He didn't ask questions. I'd built a reputation as a straight shooter. If only he knew. Next came the props. I loaded a USB drive with a fake pitch deck I whipped up in Canva. Clean graphs, recycled buzzwords, nothing that would raise suspicion. I practiced a short speech about strategic disruption in emerging green tech, just vague enough to sound smart, but empty enough to dodge follow-up questions. Then I printed a bio I'd quietly saved from Jessica's LinkedIn. Kevin Lane, VP of Strategy, Renewable Innovations, Inc. I remembered her mentioning him once. Bit of a weirdo, she'd said. Not important. Not important. The guy whose name was suddenly listed right next to hers on the speaker panel. I memorized everything about him, his career path, his alma mater. the companies he'd failed at before landing this one. I even watched a video of him speaking at some TEDx event 5 years ago. He talked with his hands a lot and made nervous jokes about disrupting the disruptors. On Wednesday night, I packed my bag, brought the suit I wore to my brother's wedding. Not flashy, just sharp enough. Added a pocket square, because why not? I stood in front of the mirror before bed, practicing one line I planned to drop at the end of my talk. Trust is fragile, especially in business. It sounded clean, professional. But I knew she'd hear exactly what I meant. And if I did this right, so would Kevin. Let her walk into that hotel thinking she was about to land the biggest deal of her life. Let her think the anonymous investor was some rich white guy with a Patagonia vest and a quiet checkbook. She had no idea. But she would. Soon. I finally saw them together, and it looked like they'd done it before. I landed in Kansas City just after 5. The hotel wasn't fancy, but it had that sleek business traveler feel. Big lobby, lots of brushed chrome, soft jazz playing from invisible speakers. I checked in with my fake ID and credit card, both matching D. Lyman. Thank you, Internet. My room was on the 6th floor. Jessica's reservation confirmation, which I'd found weeks earlier on our printer tray at home, listed her on the 8th. I didn't go to my room right away. Instead, I parked myself in the lobby bar, far corner, behind a fake potted palm, ordered a ginger ale with lime. Didn't want to be drunk when I saw it. At 7:20 p.m., I spotted her. Jessica walked in through the sliding glass doors, hair curled, heels clicking softly across the tile. She wore the earrings I gave her for our anniversary last year, small silver hoops with little sapphire stones. She'd told me she never took them on work trips, said she was too afraid to lose them. She wasn't alone. Kevin Lane walked in beside her, suitcase in one hand, laughing at something she said. She touched his arm, light and familiar. The kind of touch that doesn't happen on first trips, or even second. He was dressed like the kind of guy who tries too hard to look effortless. Blazer over a black t-shirt, stubble that said casual, not lazy. He leaned toward her as they approached the check-in desk. She leaned back. They looked like a couple, not coworkers, not even friends. A few seconds later, the hotel clerk handed them one room key. Just one. Kevin slipped it into his pocket without thinking, and Jessica reached for her bag like it was the most normal thing in the world. Then his hand landed on her lower back, low, intimate, possessive. They stepped into the elevator. I lifted my phone and hit record. The footage was short, maybe 30 seconds. Just enough to show them smiling, checking in, Kevin's hand guiding her toward the elevator like he'd done it 100 times before. Nothing graphic, nothing dramatic, but it didn't need to be. It was enough. Back in my room, I uploaded the video to a private cloud folder and labeled it KC Suite 8. I didn't watch it again. Didn't need to. I sat on the edge of the bed, hands clasped tight, staring at the floor like it owed me something. My jaw ached from clenching. My heart felt like it was too big for my ribs, but I didn't cry. I got up, opened my laptop, and rehearsed my speech, over and over. I added one more slide at the end, a quote about integrity paired with a stock photo of 2 blurred-out hotel check-in slips. I knew no one in the audience would recognize it, but Jessica would, and Kevin might. That night, I didn't sleep much. I kept hearing her voice in my head. Didn't I tell you? Yeah, you told me. Just not everything. The second our eyes met across the stage, I knew I had her. I woke up at 5, didn't need the alarm, slept maybe 3 hours, tops. My body buzzed with something halfway between rage and adrenaline. I brewed the cheap hotel coffee, shaved, and ironed my shirt again, just to kill time. The suit still fit, crisp, gray. No wrinkles. I looked like someone who belonged in a boardroom. Jessica wouldn't recognize the man walking onto that stage. At 7:45, I walked down to the conference level. Badge pickup was smooth. They had a VIP envelope waiting under Mr. D. Lyman. Inside, event schedule, green speaker badge, and a note scrawled by the organizer himself. We're honored to have you. Your session will close out day 2. Can't wait. They didn't even ask for ID. The floor was buzzing with early arrivals. Booths, banners, coffee tables with compostable cups. I nodded to a few people, kept my head down. Everyone assumed I was someone. That was the power of a nice suit and a confident walk. They led me backstage around 10 minutes before my slot. I sat alone behind a curtain, just out of view, sipping water and watching the monitors. Jessica and Kevin were already on stage, halfway through their co-presentation. Sustainability in motion, building the green pipeline. She looked relaxed. Hair curled just like last night, heels sharp, blazer fitted. Kevin sat beside her, nodding along, taking turns with the clicker like this was a well-practiced dance. They smiled, laughed. She touched his knee once under the table when the moderator made a joke. Quick. Familiar. My stomach twisted. The moderator turned toward the audience as they wrapped up. Thank you to Jessica Norris and Kevin Lane, a fantastic talk. And now, to close out today's panel, we're thrilled to introduce our mystery guest. Please welcome Mr. D. Lyman, an investor with interests in early-stage sustainability ventures. This will be his first time speaking publicly with us. Applause. A few heads turned. Whispers started. I stepped out. The lights hit me first, hot, blinding, but I kept walking. Kevin clapped. Jessica turned to look and froze. Her smile cracked like glass. She didn't stand. She didn't stand. She didn't blink. She just stared. I stopped at center stage, took the mic, and gave a calm, polite nod. Kevin still hadn't figured it out. He kept clapping, oblivious. But Jessica? She looked like she'd seen a ghost. And I hadn't said a word yet. I didn't have to name her. The room already knew. I let the applause fade before I spoke. Thank you, I said into the mic, steady as stone. This isn't my usual scene. I don't do many conferences. I prefer to watch people show me who they are. Some polite laughter, the kind meant to break tension. I didn't smile. I came here today not just to talk about investing in sustainable tech. That's important, sure, but I want to talk about something that matters even more: authenticity. The room went still. Jessica sat upright in her chair 2 rows from the stage, hands in her lap, eyes locked on mine. Kevin looked curious, maybe confused. He didn't recognize me. Not yet. See, business isn't just about numbers, I continued. It's about trust. It's about what happens behind closed doors, who you partner with, who you believe, and what those choices cost you. I could feel the shift in the room, people leaning forward, the kind of silence that only happens when you know something is about to fall. There's a myth in this world that if you wear the right blazer, speak the right jargon, network at the right tables, then your personal life can stay separate from your professional one. But that's not how it works. Jessica blinked slowly once. I saw her throat tighten. I tapped the clicker. A slide appeared behind me. Simple. 2 hotel check-in forms, blurred out except for the room numbers. Same day. Same time. 1 key. Gasps rippled through the crowd. I didn't look back at the screen. In my experience, nothing tanks a deal faster than 2 people sleeping together behind closed doors, pretending they're just business partners, I said calmly, especially when the stakes are high, especially when they lie to the people who trust them. Kevin finally shifted in his seat. His brow furrowed. You could almost see the math happening in his head. I let the silence hold. No names, I added. No drama, just data. Then I pulled the USB drive from my pocket and held it up. This, I said, contains a brief overview of some of the sustainability projects I've backed in the past, and a few notes, things your legal team might want to look at later. I said it on the podium. The room was dead quiet now, a vacuum. I've always believed that sunlight is the best disinfectant, I finished. Thank you for your time. And just like that, I stepped down. No pause for questions, no handshake, no goodbye. Jessica stared straight ahead like she was trying to vanish. Kevin, he finally looked at her. Really looked. His eyes moved from her face to the slide still glowing on the screen. And something clicked. I didn't need to see what came next. I walked off stage and didn't look back. By the time I reached the elevator, I had already blocked Jessica's number. Let the room unravel without me. Let them figure out what integrity really means, under stage lights in front of investors with a USB full of truth sitting quietly on the podium. She didn't lose her job because of me. She lost it because I told the truth in front of people who hate lies. Back in my hotel room, I ordered a burger and fries from room service, set the tray on the dresser, and never touched it. My phone sat face up on the nightstand, screen lighting up every few minutes like a metronome for regret. 10 missed calls from Jessica, 3 from Kevin, 1 from the event organizer. I didn't answer any of them. At 11:03 p.m., Jessica banged on my door. I sat on the edge of the bed and waited for it to stop. Travis, please, she said through the door. We need to talk. I messed up. Please just open the door. I didn't. Eventually, her voice cracked. I heard her slide down the wall and sit on the carpet. She stayed there for maybe 5 minutes. Then footsteps. Silence. At 1:16 a.m., she sent a text. I messed up. Please, just talk to me. I turned the phone face down. By Monday morning, the fallout had started. I wasn't expecting anything dramatic, but LinkedIn told me everything I needed to know. Jessica's title, which once read Head of Strategic Programs, now said Former Head of Strategic Programs at Renewable Innovations, Inc. Decade. Just like that. By noon, one of the smaller tech blogs picked it up. Anonymous investor backs out of Midwest tech deal, citing conflicts of interest. No names, no details. Just enough to connect the dots if you were in the room. I didn't read the comments. Tuesday afternoon, I got another email from the conference organizer. Mr. Lyman, we'd appreciate a conversation to clarify your affiliation and background. There's some concern from our board. I deleted it. That night, Jessica texted again. I moved in with my sister. I know you probably don't care, but I wanted you to know. I don't expect anything. I stopped reading. 2 weeks later, I shipped her half of the house's remaining contents. Everything she ever said she might want if we split. I didn't wait for her to ask. I just sent it. I told her to take whatever she needed. Because I was done. Done waiting for apologies that never came. Done explaining why integrity mattered. Done being the guy who gave her space while she filled it with someone else. I wasn't angry anymore. That part was over. I wasn't satisfied either. This wasn't revenge in the movie sense. There were no triumphant walk-offs or slow claps. There was just silence. But in that silence, for once, I could breathe. I lost a wife, but I found my dignity right there under the stage lights. 4 months later, I signed the divorce papers. No lawyers, no drawn-out negotiations, just one quiet meeting in a neutral office with a neutral notary who barely looked up. There were no kids, no alimony, just a few shared assets we'd already agreed to split. She got the couch, I kept the house. She took her bike, I kept the tools. She didn't ask for anything else. She didn't apologize either. Not once. The closest she got was a line she kept repeating every time we spoke. I made a mistake. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I hurt you. Just, I made a mistake, like forgetting a password or burning dinner. After everything, that's what it came down to. A mistake. I didn't correct her. What was the point? Back at work, I eased into routine. My coworkers knew something had happened. They'd seen the headlines. They'd seen the sudden PTO, but no one asked questions. A few gave me that quiet, knowing look, the kind you give someone after a funeral. I became the quiet guy again. Showed up, did my job, left early when I needed to. My buddy Wes from HR asked once over lunch, "You good?" I nodded. Getting there. That was enough. People at work had heard rumors. "Your wife was at that Kansas City thing, right?" Someone asked once by the coffee machine. I just sipped and said, "Yeah, small world." No one pressed. I didn't need to correct the record. The truth was already out there, tucked inside a USB, passed around behind closed doors. Let them wonder. Let them fill in the blanks. The last text I ever got from Jessica came one rainy Tuesday in March. I miss who we were. I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed back, "So do I, but I don't miss who you became." And that was it. I blocked her number, deleted the thread. I tossed the burner phone into a donation bin at the gas station down the road. One less piece of evidence, one less way for the past to sneak back in. But I kept the suit. It still hung in the back of my closet, pressed and clean, the same one I wore to my brother's wedding, and the same one I wore when I exposed my wife in front of an entire conference full of her peers. I also kept one screenshot. Not the hotel forms, not the texts, just one frame from the stage video, the exact second her face changed. That moment when her smile died and recognition sank in. It wasn't about vengeance, it was about clarity. That image reminded me of something I'd nearly forgotten. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I had trusted my gut, and I had been right. And that's what stayed with me. Not her voice, not his name, not the lies. Just that single second frozen in time when the truth became undeniable for her, for him, for everyone in the room. That was the moment I got my dignity back. And I've never needed anything else.